My name's Stenhouse. I'm an equipment broker with QPF Finance Group here on the Sunshine Coast. My wife and I are running the QPF Sunshine Coast office. She gets to look after the mortgage and investment property side of the business, and I look after the asset and equipment side of the business and anything business related. So that's our little story. I've had 25 years in the motor industry before I joined QPF, so starting from everything right at the very bottom as a sales cadet and doing everything from how to wash the boss's car properly through to finishing my time in the motor industry as a branch manager at one of the dealerships up here on the coast. So yeah, long journey, really exciting journey. Yeah, it definitely was just time for a change and time to do something for ourselves. Yeah, I think after 25 years, you've kind of seen nearly everything you can in the motor industry. Went through a GFC, went through COVID, but it was probably just more that I just sort of knew that there was something that I was sort of missing a little bit. Couldn't quite put my finger on what that was. Still loved the motor industry, loved the people I worked with, but it was more just, it was time for a change. And then this opportunity come up, which meant that we could grow something for ourselves and also be more involved in growing the business here on the coast where we've laid down our roots now. I didn't realise I was missing that client interaction piece until I got into the back into the finance world. And that's when I realised when you're in management in the motor industry, there's not a lot of day-to-day interaction with clients. You've got a little bit, but not to the extent that I've got now. All of a sudden you're dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. You're hearing their story, you're learning about their business, you're watching their growth aspirations, and you're really sort of working with them on a really, because finances is such a personal thing, that just how much I enjoyed that and how much I missed that. And that was probably that realisation. It took me a month to realise just how much I missed it. I was only talking to a colleague of mine about this earlier today. It's really hard not to get emotionally invested in someone's story. QPF stood out for a number of reasons. One, Vanessa, my wife, she's worked there for 10 years, nearly 10 years. But not only that, I actually knew one of the directors from when I first started in the motor industry nearly 25 years ago. So I knew him and we'd sort of stayed in touch over that time just through different things. And so when it sort of came to me wanting to do something different and the Sunshine Coast opportunity coming up, it was a bit of a no-brainer. It's got QPF are one of the biggest finance brokerage houses in the country. Like last year it was over $1 billion that they settled, which is massive. They've got great relationships with lenders. We've got 80 lenders, well, more than 80 lenders now on our panel. So there's a whole range of different things that sort of made it, and it meant that we weren't just having to start a name from ourselves. It meant that we could really grow it with the QPF backing and blessing. Well, that was another part which for me meant QPF was a big tick, was because the directors in the business are still actively involved in the business, and they are a family. So the Crane family, their father started it, and now the three brothers are running it. But you can pick up the phone and talk to them at any day. They've still got clients that ring them. They're not just sitting outside the business and letting it look after itself. And that meant a lot to me, knowing that you had that backing and also that support. And it sort of meant that family feel was what Vanessa and I were looking at, making sure that we brought to our business up here on the coast and the relationship that we've got with our clients in the community. Well, so far she's hasn't killed me, so that's always a good start. But no, it's really interesting. As much as we're working together, we work in different parts of the business. She's got a really strong network and a strong client base of mortgage, investment property clients, commercial clients. And so that sort of dovetails into what I do. So there's definitely times where I've got clients who are looking for a mortgage and I can pass their details straight on to Vanessa, and vice versa. So she's had clients that have just said they're looking to do this in their business and she's passed them over to me. And that's the whole idea, is just to create that synergy. But the best part is I don't think we work in each other's pockets each day. And so that still means that we've got that ability to sort of work together and bounce ideas off each other as well. One of my very first clients when I started with QPF was a client that came to me from Western Australia, and they're a hydration company in Western Australia. Great people. They went through a bit of a tough time a few years ago. It was really hard to hear just how much they'd sort of gone through. And so they came to me, and they wanted something very small, but we ended up getting them some equity in the business so they could grow. They had some great opportunities with some mining companies over in Western Australia to be able to get involved in. And so we were able to help them and find them some funding to help their business grow in that period. And now, what are we, just over 6 months down the track, I think I'm up to 5 different loans with them. Now we're evolving into things like forklifts and generators. We're doing tertiary assets for them, like computer IT and networking. They've got growth plans for this year, which is really cool, which is going to be their new bottle machines and things like that. So that's a real positive, and something that I'm really proud to work with them with that. Their owner rang me one morning. It was like, I think it was 7:30 in the morning Queensland time, so it was like 6 a.m. or 5:30 in Western Australia, and he was buzzing. Just got this massive order. He rang to tell me, and that just made my week. That was just so good. It was just a great feeling knowing that I just sort of played a small part in helping him to grow. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do this year and help them along the way. It was great to see them grow from where they were to where they are now. And the best part is it's only sort of like the beginning of their story and where they're going to get to. And the ideas and that they've got, it's going to be a real positive story for them in the next few years. I think in the main, what I'm starting to see is people not forward planning enough to really think about what they want in not just in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months time. I think sometimes I've been getting calls where it's like, I need that bit of equipment and I need it yesterday. And that's great, but in some cases it's fine and we can work it and we can push it through and get great deals and make it happen. In other times, if we sort of had that 3, 6, 12 months planning, we can really look at options, make sure that we've got the right structure in place so that when you come time to borrow, we are doing the right thing at the right time and getting you the right offer. It's a combination of planning, and you see the really good businesses, and it can just sometimes be a growth aspiration, or they've got their plans for the future. It can be something as simple as that, but it's also putting the little steps in place. Things like making sure that cash flow is always is something that they're always managing, that they're making sure that their ATO portals are up to date. There's little things like that you know straight away that you're talking to a business owner who's really engaged in their business and is really looking for that forward growth. Biggest thing for me is having that constant wanting to learn more and that thirst for knowledge. The way tech is expanding in every single aspect of what we do, whether that be personal or business, I think if you're not in that headspace where you want to learn, you don't have to be the expert on it all, but you're just having that knowledge of what it could be and what it might be able to provide you. There's plenty of experts out there who can help guide you to your next stage and what that looks like for your particular business and scenario. But it's being open and looking at the opportunities as they come along, rather than trying to sort of close the gate after the horse has bolted. So it's about making sure for me that you're always learning and looking for those ways just to tweak something to make it a little bit better. People still like dealing with people, and that's a big part of it, particularly when it comes to finances. Finances are such a personal thing that can be a very stressful thing for people. So they want to deal with a person, a voice, somebody that they know is there and have got their back. But having said that, nowadays there's so many other options and things that have made life easier in our industry, even just from the simple things like links for bank statements to even just some AI around the back end of things. But in the main, it's still trying to make sure that we still deal with people and that we sort of bring that into the mix. Yeah, like I think there's so much scope out there in the way of making that happen. There's some brilliant AI products out there these days where you can actually nearly qualify a client just over SMS, just for some questions back and forward, get a really strong qualification on that client and on that client scenario, just from some text bots and things like that. And that can just speed the process up. You're not giving the client any advice. As a broker, that would mean that I've still got to go away. I've still got to go and analyse where's going to be the best fit for it. And then we have that conversation with the client to give them the options and what structure is best for it. But at the end of the day, it does just streamline the conversation And it means that we're meeting the client where they want to be met as well. So in that instance, if a client if it's 9 o'clock at night, and he's a tradie, it's the only time of the day he gets where hasn't got jobs, or he's looked after, the kids are in bed, and he has that time and he can sit down and do a qualification text. And then I walk in the next day, grab that info, provide him with some options. It can cut out maybe 2, 3, 4 days, maybe even longer of the process. It's about just trying to find that common ground with it, because some people won't feel comfortable with it, and that's really understandable. It is their finances, and it's a pain point for a lot of people. But for those people who do feel comfortable with it, it can just shave a bit of time off, but also it means as well that they can then the next day go back to doing what they need to do, and that is earning money. And we can come back to them with the options without having the time up on the phone call for 10 minutes. So I think that the biggest thing with this is any task in your business that is what they class as a low value task, and it can take up a whole lot of time for you to be able to sit there and do it, but that takes you away from what your core activities in your business are, is gold. And that's something that every business should be looking at, because there are things in your business that take up your time and your effort and your brain power that take you away from making money. And at the end of the day, every business owner that is there knows the core part of their business, and it also is probably the core part is what they enjoy the most and is the most profitable. And so that part, if you focus on that and let automation take over the other parts of your business, that to me, it just gives you more time to do the things that you love to do, and of course, be more profitable. Yeah, I think from an automation in the finance, it's going to be more probably on the back end. I think in the support stages, whether that also be from the lender's point of view as well. But I still think that at the end of the day, there's elements of what we do every single day that still needs that person-to-person contact. But on top of that, it's from that back end support. Sometimes it's really good to be able to pick up the phone and have a conversation with a credit analyst, because you can pass on to them how you feel about the customer, the story of the customer. You can do it with emotion, things that you can never ever do with a computer. So there is that fine line, but I definitely think that from an automation and AI, it's definitely going to be in that back end part of the business, not at the front end at the moment. I think it's on the Sunshine Coast. We're in a purple patch. There's no doubt about it. You go to any sort of chamber of commerce or networking event, and people talk about that, and it is. You look at the infrastructure that's getting put in. There's a whole lot of things happening here on the coast, which from a local business point of view is really exciting. But I just think that at the end of the day, we've all still got to realise that we're dealing with people, and we've got to make sure that we're still really focused on our clients and our customer experience, because that's what brings people back. Whether they're transient people who come through just because they're up here on holidays, or whether or not they live here, people come back and they keep going back to the places that they like because of the experience. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things. We tend to forget about that when we look at balance sheets and profit and losses. I think sometimes we always need to remember that the person that is using our service is the most important part of that. We noticed when we moved up the coast that there was very close-knit community, and you have to really involve yourself in a lot of community things. But having said that, that doesn't mean you've got to go out and be involved in everything. At the end of the day, your community is your kids' schools, it's your kids' daycares, sporting teams. There's a whole range of different things, parent groups that are within your community. From a business point of view, there's so many great groups out there. From your Chamber of Commerce's, there's some great groups around things like LinkedIn Locals. There's a whole range of different things out there where you can meet a whole breadth of people and really get to know people within the community. We came from a town like Toowoomba, which is in a lot of ways very similar to the Sunshine Coast. It is very close-knit, so you've really got to make sure that you sort of just build those relationships. But it's about the old givers gain philosophy. It's at the end of the day, you can't just expect everything to come back to you. You've really got to put out there into different ways and just be seen and just try to do your best for what you can, and hopefully from there, you get the gains as they come through. Probably the big key piece of advice is always be learning. Like always just be inquisitive about what's going on in and around your industry and just see how things are that you could benefit from. But know your numbers as well. Like it's not just about knowing how much money you pull out at the bottom at the end of the day, because I mean that's important, but there's also a whole range of other things in behind, like knowing things like how many people you have making inquiries each day, how many people of them are you converting, what your marketing dollar's doing. It's about looking at the different parts of your business where you can make just a slight little tweak and you can get a big gain at the end. So it's about looking at it, being inquisitive and just making sure that you know your different parts of your numbers, apart from just your bottom line. Probably on a personal point of view, just loving living at the coast, the weather, the people, the fact that we get to walk on the beach every day if we wanted to. From a professional point of view, it's great to be part of a community where it is welcoming, and I actually enjoy that. And being out and about in different community groups and networking groups, and just watching to see how we grow over the next few years. And the things that we can achieve. It's really exciting to sort of be part of the business community up here on the coast, and just looking forward to seeing the next few years. There's obviously so much happening around the Olympics and everyone talks about that all the time, and while that's really exciting and it's not that far away, it's just to see what the next probably 3 to 4 years here on the coast looks like, and see what all the development brings with it.